Hello and welcome to Life Less Ordinary. It is a Saturday afternoon towards the end of May. We've had a lot of frosts in the last couple of weeks. So our tomato plants and zucchini, any of our summer crops are dying or are dead. So coming into winter, what we generally tend to do at this point in the year is to tidy up the garden, to replenish the soil as best as we can. The way we do this in terms of tidying the garden, we've got these, let me see if you can see. So this garden bed here and over here has a number of tomato vines attached to the Rio, and we will pull that all off. One thing I will say is that we use these little plastic clips this last season to attach our tomatoes, and I've decided now that we're taking them off, because we have already taken off 4 trellises worth of tomatoes, so you're looking at about 18 tomato vines that we have pulled off. So I have a bit of experience with what I'm talking about in terms of using these clips. They worked fine keeping the tomato vines up, but now that we're taking them off, and they've only been up for 4 to 5 months, we're finding that they're definitely not something that you can reuse, because even though we're carefully trying to unclip them, they are essentially just splitting in half, so they need to be thrown into the bin. So they're therefore not something that we can reuse. In the past I've used, it's a cloth twine type thing, jolly something or other, which you have to chop because it's in one long roll. You have to chop them up, and we do use those for our espaliering for our fruit trees. So we have used them in the past for tomatoes. I was just trying something new, and I'm going to say that it was a major fail. I don't think it's worth it. I don't like having to throw things into the bin. I like to be able to reuse things. So that's one thing about the tomatoes, and any of these things, particularly that we are going to be pulling out or are pulling out at the moment. I like to do something called chop and drop. So that means we pull it out and chop it up using secateurs, and just drop it where it is in the garden, which in the coming weeks we will put compost over the top, so it then breaks down and adds nutrients to the soil. So that's something that I like to do. You could also sort of grab all of the clippings and cuttings and vines out, put them in and bring across a chipper or a mulcher of some kind, and I would probably try doing that, except that you can probably hear in the background that the chipper is going still. We're trying to get through this massive pile of debris that gets left by these big trees, and cuttings and things like that. So we've just got this massive pile that we're still trying to get through, and I really don't want to make Dean any more anxious or, oh my goodness, I'm never getting through this pile, if I keep adding stuff to it. So I have put some of our clippings onto our compost piles up that direction. They do need to be chopped up a bit, otherwise it's going to take forever for it to break down. So there's a couple of options for what we could do, or what anyone could do with the clippings. I do not throw them into the green waste bin, because we do not use our green waste bin, because I want everything to go back into the garden in some form, whether it's chipping, mulching, composting. It's just making use of what you have there, rather than continually importing stuff in. So that's what we have been doing. That's what we're continuing to do at this point in time, last weekend in May. So I just thought I'd show that to you. So I'm going to show you now just a little bit of each of us getting in and doing some of this work, so that you can see that our kids do some work around here. And they do get rewarded. But yeah, and we do end up with a lot of green tomatoes. So there will be green tomato chutney in our future. Anyway, I thought that might be something that would be interesting for you to watch. So it is now a week later. We've had a lot of things going on, but I thought it'd be good to finish this video, but also it's actually an opportune time to show what we have actually been able to get done in the last week in the yard. So number one, Dean has gotten through all of the rather large wood pile that we had over here. He's managed to put it all through the wood chipper and tidy up, and this is what it looks like. So the wood pile started up here just inside the fence and then came down to all the way down here. So this was all one massive pile of wood, and he's managed to clear that, chip it all here, and we have been using it in various places through the yard. We do have this pile of kindling, so some of it was either too thick to go through the chipper that we have, but we can use them in the wood fire inside, and that's our wood pile that hopefully will get us through winter. So we do have this along here is jasmine, which is growing from next door, which at the moment is a vacant lot, which they're doing up to build townhouses. So we're just going to try and get what we can off this side, that's all been pulled off and is just sitting there dying, which we'll put through the chipper soon as well. So that's a job well done. And as you can see over there, we have filled up 2 of the compost bays, and the third one we've started on. So we'll have that composting away over winter, and hopefully we'll be able to use particularly this one on the left hand side. Oops. So we'll be able to use the left hand side one first because that's been there the longest. And down in this back area we have managed to pull out all of the pumpkin vines and tidy up there. And then through here we have also been able to pull off all the tomato vines off all of the Rio and also the zucchini. So that's all been chopped up and put in the compost. You can see here that the garlic is coming through really well. I'm really pleased with that. And we're just starting to put more mulch into the beds over winter, particularly the ones we're not going to use at the moment until spring again. So that will just replenish the nutrients in there. And the last thing I did want to show you was this back area. So the trees have been moved. I'm just going to walk along here so that you can see that they're actually well and truly off the fence. So we will put in espaliered along of here. That's probably the next project down here. But there are 8 apple trees in, and the ones that haven't lost their leaves or already will start doing that because they're deciduous. But we're really pleased with this section here. We've just put more wood chip down to keep the weeds at bay, and as much as we can along this fence line, given that that's what we have from the neighbours. But yeah, moving the trees further over from the fence will allow us to be able to keep that as tidy as we can, so we're not getting weeds spreading in. So while it has been a busy week since I did the beginning part of this video, you can see that we have managed to get a lot of things done, and I'm really pleased with the way things are going. Still more work to do in terms of prepping beds and chopping a few things back, but we've managed to get there. Anyway, thanks for joining us in our Life Less Ordinary.